Talk about something that happened a few days ago involving world-renowned, not really, but of course, one of the most world-famous Caitlin Clark haters on the planet, somebody that works for ESPN, woke Disney, Elle Duncan. Yeah, the WNBA All-Star Game was this past weekend, and she made a very, very vulgar joke during said broadcast. Now, you would think if you wanted to, you could sit down as a family with your young children, maybe even probably young girls, and watch this game. And you don't expect something like this to happen. Look, when I upload a video, it asks me, is this for children? No, it is not. Okay, so then that way everybody sort of, at least the algorithm will attempt to keep these videos out of the hands of young.
We're kicking things off with a controversy that's been stirring up the WNBA world. ESPN's Elle Duncan, a known critic of Caitlin Clark, made headlines after dropping a vulgar joke during the WNBA All-Star Game broadcast. Now, think about this. Families across the country, parents with young daughters, sitting down to watch the game. They expected an inspiring night of basketball. What they got? A crude joke on live TV. Does ESPN not realize this league is finally drawing in a new, younger audience? Or do they simply not care? What do you think? Is it fair to expect a family-friendly broadcast at a professional sports event?
Young children, right? Now, we know a lot of young girls, a lot of children have been drawn to the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark. I believe it is the singular reason she is so popular, because the traditional family unit is now interested in WNBA basketball. All right? The nuclear family, let's call it, right? Dad, mom, kids, sit down, turn on the game, watch Caitlin Clark. These little girls are wild about Caitlin Clark. Well, there was a lot of fallout around Elle Duncan's joke, and we'll listen to it in a minute. And let me just keep it real. Her dick joke. During the WNBA broadcast. And Outkick dropped an article this morning, and I didn't even realize this. Outkick has a former WNBA announcer and a former Northwestern basketball player, a woman, working as their editor. And she has come out and made some comments about this. She crushes Elle Duncan into dust.
The joke in question wasn't subtle. Elle Duncan made what can only be described as a dick joke during a national broadcast. Not on a late-night Sports Center slot, no, right in primetime during the WNBA's showcase event. Patricia Babcock McGrath, a former WNBA announcer, called this out and didn't hold back. She pointed out what many are thinking. This kind of humor doesn't belong in a setting where kids are tuning in. Would you feel comfortable with your kids hearing that on TV? Or are people being too sensitive here?
And she's bringing up something very valid. And look, the WNBA couldn't grow all these years for one reason and one reason only. And this is what's made these players so angry. They don't want their traditional family unit to watch their games. They don't want, look at their lifestyles and their preferences. I mean, they don't get down with that. Let's just be real. And a lot of parents have been like, no, I'm not showing that to my kids. Right? And anyway, you think it's safe to maybe watch now? Maybe not. All right? So, let's go to this. ESPN anchor Elle Duncan joined the Dan Le Batard show this week, defending how she made a, quote, dick joke on air during the WNBA All-Star Game. Quote, my thing with the Cancun joke is, I feel like whenever I say something, it's like sometimes a reintroduction for some people who clearly don't know me or my work over the last 10 years. You don't have to watch ESPN Sports Center to watch a WNBA All-Star Game. We don't care about your work.
But here's where the hypocrisy hits hard. ESPN has a history of letting go of anchors like Sam Ponder and Sage Steele for far less controversial remarks. Yet Duncan is given a platform to defend her joke, claiming girls say crude jokes too. No one's debating that, but the issue is timing, place, and audience. Why is it that some ESPN employees face consequences while others, like Duncan, get a free pass? Is this fair?
We don't care about what you've done. Hey, God, get over yourself. Quote, I'm like, bro, I said on air one time that if you celebrate too early, it's called premature ejaculation. That's not cool. Like, I can't actually imagine that this was worse than that, Duncan said. Yeah, but people didn't set in and tune in to the Sports Center. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, come on. This is not the same. You were on a national broadcasted event. Not some episode of Sports Center that's showing at 3 a.m. in the morning. But sure, try to be cute. Quote, I feel like I constantly have to remind people I've been saying things like this for 10 years, and I have been at ESPN. Well, that shows you the hypocrisy of ESPN, because they'll fire somebody like Sam Ponder or Sage Steele. So right here, let's listen.
Season long. So.
All right.
Yeah,
well, again, we hope it gets a little bit more competitive because, like a girls' trip to Cancun right now, there's no Dean. It's a 22-point game for Team Collier. That's a walk-off. Sabrina Ionescu, there she is from the 4-point circle. Second half action from Cambridge Fieldhouse. Tips after this.
Al, you're in timeout.
Okay, done.
Let's be clear, this wasn't an innocent slip-up. Duncan doubled down, even boasting about making worse jokes before. But this wasn't a casual podcast or late-night segment. It was a live WNBA All-Star game, with young fans watching. I hope people standards should be higher. This is a national platform. Can you imagine a male announcer getting away with a similar joke during the Super Bowl? Not a chance. Is this a case of double standards? Should Duncan face the same scrutiny as male broadcasters? What?
Yeah. Well, look, we're not fooled by that. We're not fooled by that. I bet there's plenty of D. But in the WNBA, that's probably not what they're down with anyway. So Duncan tried claiming that people were only bothered by the joke because it was a woman. Good God. Quote, yes, girls say crude jokes too. No, everybody gets that. Everybody knows that. No, that's not the point. Patricia Babcock McGraw is an editor at Outkick and played college basketball at Northwestern University. When asked about Duncan's comment and defense, she provided the following insight. Quote, I think people would be bothered by this joke no matter who said it. Oh, if it was a man, his ass would be launched into space over it. They'd have canceled his poor ass. I mean, let's just be real. How many baseball broadcasters and shit have been fired in the last few years because they said something they felt was offensive? Man or woman, and not because people can't take a joke, are prudes, Babcock McGraw said. First, this joke isn't even funny. It's just kind of cringe. Second, this joke is a weird thing to say in this context.
Patricia Babcock McGraw nailed it. She reminded everyone that WNBA broadcasters are, or should be, highly aware that young girls are a core part of their audience. It's not about being a prude, it's about respecting the viewers. ESPN might shrug this off, but what about the WNBA? The league's working hard to grow its fan base, and moments like this can undo that progress. Do you think the WNBA should publicly address this incident? Or is it ESPN's problem to handle?
You just don't hear sports announcers say things like this on broadcast TV during an event. There's one of my points right there. This ain't some episode of Sports Center at 9 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine a male sports announcer saying the equivalent during the Super Bowl or the Pro Bowl? No, because it doesn't happen. There's a standard there. Yeah, I mean, it's classless. There's a classiness quotient that is there for announcers to typically adhere to. So she just said it. Quote, and third, I think many WNBA TV announcers, and I used to be one of them, are very conscious of the fact that young girls are a big part of the WNBA fan base and viewership. You don't say things that are inappropriate for children to hear or that would put parents in an awkward position. ESPN might not be irritated by Duncan, but I bet, just like some fans, the WNBA is. Moreover, most of the criticism, specifically ours, was aimed at Duncan's employer. Goes on to talk about ESPN's hypocrisy when it comes to things like politics and who they're willing to get mad at, who they're willing.
And here's where ESPN's selective outrage becomes crystal clear. While Duncan is allowed to dismiss concerns and crack jokes, others like Ponder and Steele were punished for expressing their views, even when far less explicit. This inconsistency isn't lost on fans. If a male announcer or a white female anchor had made that same joke, we all know how quickly heads would roll. Is ESPN protecting certain employees based on who they are, rather than holding everyone to the same standard?
They're willing to not get mad at. Right here, you know. Duncan feels empowered to disobey the company standards, while the likes of Sam Ponder, Ashley Brewer, and Sage Steele were routinely scolded for offenses half as egregious as Duncan's. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they're all in the same. I think they're all gone now. All three of those folks are gone. Admittedly, it would have been more cringe if Stephen A. Smith or Scott Van Pelt joked about no D on television. The fact is, I don't think either one of those guys would have said that. Quote, men love girls who make dirty or crude jokes, but at the WNBA game, if a white American woman made these jokes on the same stage as Duncan, they'd likely lose their job. I think they would immediately lose their job.
The irony is painful. Duncan claims that people are upset just because she's a woman making crude jokes. But the truth is, many fans would be offended no matter who said it. The problem isn't her gender, it's the setting. There's a time and place for edgy humor, but during a live all-star game where young girls look up to these athletes, that's not it. What do you think? Was Duncan's defense valid, or did she miss the bigger picture?
There, I said it. They're not going to fire the DEI hire. That's not going to happen. That'd been a straight white woman, her ass would have been trapdoored like that chick from Return of the Jedi when Jabba hit the button and the Rancor came out. Yeah, I went there. It'd be a wrap. It'd be a wrap unless you're Luke Skywalker. Man, I mean, come on. Yeah, people are now setting. This is why the WNBA is now so popular, and it's exactly why you see so much hate from so many of these players. They know who's growing the game. They know who the viewership is now, and they don't align with people that want to sit down as a truly family unit and not see anything related to preferences, sexuality, none of that. We're tuning in like regular sports fans to see and hear sports be viewed and talked about. It's that simple, like any other sport.
This controversy also highlights why Caitlin Clark's presence in the WNBA is so impactful. Families, real, everyday sports fans are tuning in because of players like her. They want to enjoy the game, free from politics, free from agendas, free from awkward moments that make them change the channel. This is about basketball, plain and simple. Are incidents like this hurting the WNBA's momentum, or is it just a small bump in the road?
And far as what she said on ESPN, do you know how many people have just tuned? ESPN's hemorrhaged how many viewers? A bazillion of them over the years because of people just like Elle Duncan. We tuned out on you a long time ago for a reason, specifically. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out.
As ESPN continues to hemorrhage viewers, situations like these make it easy to understand why. Fans are tired of being alienated. They're looking for authenticity, professionalism, and respect for the audience. This isn't about cancel culture, about standards. So, what's next? Will ESPN and the WNBA take this as a wake-up call, or will they double down and risk alienating the very audience that's starting to give them a chance? If you've got an opinion on this, I want to hear it. Drop a comment below. Who's really in the wrong here? Elle Duncan? ESPN? Or is this just a media overreaction? Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more honest takes on sports and media. Till next time, peace. I'm out.